First, let me begin with word of salutation to Buddha Shakyamuni and His Holiness the Dalai Lama on behalf of the people of Mumbai and all the different sentient beings. Kange toze nyezo ne dawa damje bambe shir dabe shunye dunze ma kodam dewa chance do onye nije sundo shuga lam shejir sizde kanje dende gun chana pe mo tenzen gyato sowa de zo shende nundo sho. Hello, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Respected Venerable Geshe and Gendashila, and all the members of Militants Buddhist Center in Mumbai, and I'm very inspired by the dynamics of the Jill, likewise the Surit, then Kamala, Bimla, and then how I can see that Geshe attracted so many very educated, very competent people like King Aula, and very inspiring to see, how the educated people, and of this what I oftentimes tell my friends in the West, that the English of the Indians English is so good. Oftentimes, for editorial works, the books that Tibet House publishes, I seek the help of the very educated Indian scholars for editing, and the English is amazingly good, very high standard. So I'm very impressed by Geshe your dynamism, that there is a light now taking birth in Mumbai for all these many years. The first time I was here, meaning more officially for teaching purposes, I think it was in 2008, Dorji, 2008. Since then I've been coming to Mumbai almost every year, and today how Geshe is he attracts the people, and I can see that there's a great element of magnetism, dynamism, proactivity, and the love, his love for the people here, and the very educated people, their love towards him. That is something great and adorable. I really appreciate it, and I've been telling the people like Jill and Pamela yesterday, and also the Surit or Surit? Surit. That finally, after all these many years, we found that there is somebody, a great scholar, very young, dynamic, and extremely compassionate. At the same time, a great pro-activity there. I started coming to Mumbai, and so thus far, many of my friends from Delhi, when they moved to Mumbai, the first thing they asked me is, where should we turn to for Dhamma instructions, or for otherwise as well, like general counsel and so forth. But this is one of the biggest the problem for me. And finally, Geshe came here, and it's so easy for me. For example, like Priya here, Prirak, who attended the Dorji retreat, 7-day Dorji retreat in Bulgaria. And I told him that you must meet Geshe or something like that. So all the people, somehow, who I met, and then who I came to discover that they are here in Mumbai, I told them that you must meet Geshe or something like that, must be connected with him. And you could feel something there. And you just feel like always direct your mind towards him for your love, to learn from him, and to feel a sense of oasis, a sense of belonging, a sense of healing. So it's so precious. And for your information, given that this group, I can see that there are many of you from Dr. Nivedita's the teachings and her influence on you, and I oftentimes describe Dr. Niveditaji as the angel of compassion, who spreads compassion to the very educated Indians, and usually it's not below 20. Is say always like 30s, 40s. So that is the age that she attracts, and that I see as the one who gives shape to the nation. That is the age. So she attracts the right audience, and that she puts them in the proper track. Well, first of all, to heal oneself, and then to go to heal others. So I have a profound respect for Dorji Niveditaji, for that she has been an enormous amount of contribution that she makes here in Mumbai. And then, of course, we track back. We see Ajayji and Zubinji from Pune, who were the great inspiration behind what Dorji Niveditaji has been doing here in Mumbai and in Chennai. And for information, my extremely dear friend and adorable family, Mr. Dilipji here, who's right here, and who remains very low profile, and I dragged him all the way from his house to stay with us here, and had it not been for Jill, I could not have succeeded in dragging him here. So Jill is even more stronger to drag him here, and requested him, urged him to be with us. So he is very low, he maintains himself in a low profile. Okay, so this is one thing, and the mainly Chansa Center here. What we suggest is that I can see the great prospect that finally this is going to be one of the centers which in Delhi there is one center, that is Tushita Center there, but there's no residential teachers now. And in Bangalore there's maybe 1 or 2 centers, but again there's no residential teacher there. And Mumbai for all these many years, there was no residential here, and teacher. Then finally we have teacher here. So from looking at from all these angles, we see that so all these many years I've been coming to Mumbai, and I've been always thinking of I feel so connected with the Mumbaiites. What do you call them? I call them Mumbaiwala. Yeah, Mumbaiites. I wish that there's somebody there. And finally, from nowhere, and you wouldn't believe that you're having Geshe here first time, and I was meeting Geshe for that time, 2018. It was the first time that I was meeting him. I didn't know what his existence on this earth. And suddenly, you have this gem, Mumbai people. So you're very fortunate. So therefore, I was constantly encouraging that people who are very closely associated with Geshe, that how long Geshe will last here depends on the students. If the students make the most of his presence here, he will feel that okay, there's a reason for him to be here. And whereas if the students, they don't take the advantage of his presence here, then he will say, why should I have to be here in Mumbai with all this humidity, right? And the heat, and the traffic. Why should it be here? So whereas if you take advantage, at the moment I can see that this is a big, when I was his age, like 10 years younger, 10, 15 years younger, so when I was his age, I could feel a tremendous energy there to really go for others. So this I can see in Geshe. So therefore I would say that the people like you, all the poor people, and then others also, then you can join the Geshe's team, and then of course, the Geshe will give the instruction and make sure that we follow according to what Geshe instructs. So this will make sure that the center will improve, and finally, it's not about center, it's about the benefit that people get from the Geshe's presence here. Okay, so with this in mind, given that I can see that say some of you who are doing another master's course, another diploma course from Tibetas online, I can see that your faces, although I'm meeting for the first time, but I can see you as well. I'm very familiar to my eyes, and there's some of the girls from Kranti, Bunny, and Bunny came here. So we see that this is, like a family, not like a very formal setting. It's like a family. So the teaching, there's no doubt, is primarily for distressing yourself. How do you distress is one thing, and it can be at times it can be really technical, because that usually what I feel is that the Buddha's teachings, there's a great deal of technicalities there. At the same time, to make one feel so grounded, and to find the base on which you can grow. So with this, and that's going, but I assure you that it's not going to be difficult. It's going to be technical. Technical meaning that you cannot just keep yourself distracted. Pay attention, and you will understand it. So this is the key. It's not difficult, but we have only 4 sessions. Only 4 sessions. It's not going to be too long. So the maximum benefit would be there, where you pay full attention and don't be too worried that now he is plunging into a very turn part, and I couldn't follow what he said before. So whatever you missed of the points which I shared with you earlier, don't worry, just let them go. Be focused on the present conversation and the talk. Okay, having said this, first of all, I'd like to do a little bit, all of us will collectively do a little bit of, breathing meditation, 5 minutes breathing meditation. And I'm going to give you instruction here. So for this breathing meditation, I can see that there are many of you whose faces are familiar to me, which means that you've already done this meditation with me. And should there be some who are coming here, who are here for the first time, and then particularly do meditation for the first time here, it is not that what I'm teaching here, that is the correct one, and all others which are different from what I'm teaching, they're wrong. There's just no point. All traditions are correct as long as they're coming from the authentic lineage. So with this in mind, we're going to do a simple breathing meditation, 5 minutes, and for this 4 points to keep in mind. Number 1 is a body posture. Just keep these points in mind. A body posture. Number 2 is the focal point. Number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation. Number 4 is applying the remedies to overcome the errors. The first, the body posture. Body posture, just if you can sit cross-legged, if not, it's fine. This is not mandatory. And second point is extremely important. The backbone upright. Backbone upright, spine upright. So where, and then is unless you have knee problems or backache problem, we advise to sit upright without leaning against the support. That's so important. And if you, the moment you lean against the support or give your back a little hunch like this, you see that the structure is just disrupted, because the flow of the energy is disrupted, and the energy of the body and the mind, which are very closely connected. When the flow of the energy is disrupted, your mind becomes very sluggish. So you cannot practice well. With this in mind, the body upright, then the flow of energy is going to be smooth, and mind, which accompanies this energy, is going to be very lucid and calm. Okay, this is what we do. And then your head tilts forward a little bit, and the most important thing, your eyes not closed. Oftentimes, some teachers will say, close your eyes. This is not at all a good advice. Whereas, when you become expert in meditation, when you really become good at meditation, with an extended period of training, then over time, you can do meditation with eyes closed, lying down, sitting up, and in sleep, you can do meditation in all different situations. Whereas as beginners, it's always advisable to do the meditation with eyes open. Eyes open meaning they half open, 45 degrees cast down, just keep it there. This is your eyes. Don't keep your eyes closed. And then you are say the breathe normally. Don't control the breath. Don't chase up. Don't chasing the breath, or don't control the breath, and don't breathe forcefully. Just let it flow very normally, naturally. And the tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in the mouth. And breathe normally. And then your right hand on left hand, the tips of two thumbs joining, forming a triangle. Place the two hands in your lap in a restful state. And while your body is upright, make sure that your body is flexible. It is not rigid. It's extremely important. Sometimes we are unaware, say unconsciously, what can happen is that your body can become stiff, and you are unaware of that. And then if you sit in this position with the body stiff for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, and so forth, like 2-3 consecutive days, you will discover that your body will start to pain. Okay, so make sure that your body is very relaxed while being upright. Okay. Then that is the body posture. It is also known as the Buddha Vajrayana's body posture. Next one is focal point. What are we going to meditate on? We're going to meditate on two things. One is a tiny white dot. Tiny white dot between your nose and upper lip. Okay, all of us just touch this spot here, the nose, upper lip. Just touch it. Don't look at it. Touch it. Do you feel that? Don't look at it. Just touch it. Do you feel that? Okay, likewise, scratch yourself, scratch your back with your hands. Just scratch it. Do you feel it? Okay. So then, although your eyes are not looking at it, still you are aware. Yes, I could feel that I'm scratching myself. So this is not your eye consciousness. This is your mental consciousness. There's a body, there is the tactile, what I call the body consciousness, and there's also the mental consciousness. So which thinks of the past, which thinks of the future. So that mind is known as mental consciousness. For a meditation, you are expected to employ your mental consciousness, not the sensory consciousness. This is an extremely important thing that we need to keep in mind. So we'll employ this mental consciousness to focus on the tiny white dot between nose and upper lip. Not with your eyes. If your eyes are cast down like this on your nose, it will strain your eyes, and this is not healthy. Just keep your eyes 45 degrees cast down and ignore. Your mental consciousness must be very active to focus on the tiny white dot here. Plus, if you can manage what we call as the multitasking, here, in the front, there's a space here. Okay, so if you can, on top of this, visualizing the tiny white dot, if you can, then we go for multitasking. Multitasking meaning that we do two things at a time. One is focus on a tiny dot here. Meanwhile, counting breath. Breathe in, breath out, very normally. Breathe in, breath out. These two things happen simultaneously. So we'll try both. And simply because you cannot manage it within the first 1 week, should not be a reason for you to quit this. It can be a little complicated, but try both for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and if you succeed in it, well good. If you find it's too difficult to manage both the things, then you can go for the breath. You can skip the visualization. Just the count breath, breathe in, breath out, cycle 1, again breathe in, breath out, cycle 2. This is what we're going to do for like 5 minutes. Okay, so this is focal point. Number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation. Number 4, these are so important. Oftentimes, people say that I do meditation. How long do you do meditation? Half an hour, 1 hour. This is not a good idea. When you begin, never do meditation for like half an hour. Say, begin short sessions, quality, with emphasis on quality. If you emphasize on the quantity, the length of the duration, then the meditation, let's not forget it. There are 2 things. One is, something is better than nothing. This is one option. And the option is, nothing is better than something. Meditation belongs to this category. Nothing is better than something. Either do it properly or don't do it. If you do it properly. Make sure that you don't damage your mind. Because your mind can go into a bad habit if you are not aware of the point number 3 and point number 4. Point number 3, identify the errors of meditation. While doing meditation, where can we go wrong? There are 2 possibilities. One is the overactivity of the mind, and the other one is the inactivity of the mind. Overactivity of the mind is known as mental excitement, and the inactivity of the mind is known as mental laxity. Mental laxity and mental excitement. Should your mind go to any of these 2 problems, don't worry, no need to panic, go for the number 4, applying remedies to overcome the errors. We need to apply the remedies. What remedies are there? 2-fold. Introspection and mindfulness. What is introspection? What is mindfulness? Saying that the mind, which otherwise should be meditating, this mind, instead of meditating, if it is scattered or if it's sleeping, it is like your pet dog. Your mind is like a pet dog. The pet dog should be with you. And the pet dog, if it disappears, either it is sleeping somewhere or it is run away from your sight. So what do? First, your job is to track, go in search of the pet dog. Likewise, your mind, if it is not meditating, then you have to go in search of this mind. This is known as the introspection. To introspect, to be vigilant, to be aware of what your mind is doing. So this is the introspection, to see what your mind is doing. Once you see that, once you find your pet dog, the job of your search is done, is complete. Next is the job of the rope. Tie the dog with the rope, bring it back home, and tie to the pillar of your home. So this rope is none other than the mindfulness. Once you see that your mind is not meditating, instead it's sleeping or it is scattered, then apply the rope of the mindfulness, bring the pet dog like the mind back to the intended objective meditation. This is mindfulness. This is so important. Oftentimes, why I'm emphasizing these 2 points so much is that once I met somebody and he said, I've been meditating. And how long? The person said, I've been meditating for the last 3 years. When somebody says that I've been meditating for 3 years, I take it very seriously. Suddenly he said that nowadays in my meditation, buildings are coming up. I said, what kind of meditation you can do? And then I realized, simply because somebody is meditating for like 2 years, 3 years, doesn't mean that a person knows the techniques well. So this is where I'm saying that you are damaging your mind. This is so important to make sure that you don't damage your mind, do the meditation with the emphasis on the quality first. Okay, so for this number 3, number 4, not going to miss. Number 3, just identify what kind of mistakes you are making pertaining to meditation, whether the mind is falling sleepy, sinking, lethargic, or the mind is overly excited to go into scattering, and distraction and so forth. If any of these 2 problems happen, then you must apply the introspection and mindfulness. Ready? 5 minutes. Ready? Okay. you. Okay. So these 2-day teaching is the topic is Heart Sutra and the psychology of relieving stress. This is a very important topic which Geshe has chosen. And today we see that the people have so much problem related to the family, themselves, and in the workplace. So this is a huge problem that we see. And how to tackle that is so important for us, because in the first place, it's not about, let's say, that you assign that you affiliate yourself with any specific religion, that you should be a Buddhist or a Hindu or a Muslim, Jain, Christian, Baha'i, the Zoroastrianism or Judaism or Sikhism. No, it's not. But the first thing that is important is that you should be, say, in your family, that you should be, say, a good family member, a kind family member. So where all your family members should feel happy to be with you. Say when they have some problem, they mind automatically turns towards you. If that happens, you are a good person. This is what is required. And then they finally say that, for example, saying Jesus Christ, he's not a Christian. Let's not forget it. Buddha, he's not a Buddhist. Prophet Muhammad, he's not a Muslim. Ram, he's not a Hindu. Don't forget it. Say, somebody following Hinduism is known as Hindu. Somebody following Buddha is known as Buddhist. Buddha doesn't follow Buddha. Right? In other words, so all these religions, they have a purpose there. The purpose to make you a better person. To make you a better person. To make you a better human with your family member. Right? To make sure that your family, they feel comfortable to be with you. That is no purpose. Let's not forget it. So therefore, the point is that even if somebody claims that, oh, I'm a Buddhist, but if you don't practice compassion, if you're a very angry person, short-tempered person, Buddha will be very unhappy with you, very sad with you. Even if you say that I'm a Hindu, whereas if you're a very unkind person, very crooked person, says wrong, then the Krishna will be very unhappy with you. Right? You are embarrassment. You are disgrace for me. Likewise, the Muslims, Jains, Sikhs, Christians, Jews, Baha'is, then Parsis. So the point is that first, always keep in mind that these great enlightened teachers, they have a purpose in their life. When they come into the earth, there's a purpose to make your mind pure. There's no purpose. So with this in mind, what we're doing here is a Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra. And we learn from this that how to, to give you a very simple example, it is like a small child, and who is doing a mature child, say like age 12, 13, 14, who understands what is meant by homework, right? And particularly in my days, lucky, I say, well, maybe the school teachers, they must be giving homeworks when we were age 5, 6, 7, but then the moment we left the classroom, then there was nobody there to check on us, where's your homework? But nowadays, the small children, they are under so much stress. First, the teachers, they stress them, right? Classworks, homeworks. Then they'll be at home, the mothers, they stress them, where's your homework? Right? So this is so much stress on them. So just see, what's our mind like? Look at the small child's mind when it is Diwali, Christmas, New Year, Friday evening, Saturday evening, or Sunday? What is the child's mind like? And what is the child's mind like the Monday morning? Right? So once I was in Assam, and my host, there also this one center there, my host, he has a little son. And when I arrived there, he was extremely active, hyper. And I never saw him as like a deflated balloon. I never saw him like that. And the Monday morning, I could not hear his sound at all. I could not hear any, the making sound. And then I asked my friend, what happened to this boy? He left? He said, no, he's here. He's sick? He said, no. What happened? I cannot hear anything. So then, finally, he said that Monday morning is very different. Monday morning. And then finally he came so like he's a sick young little boy. He came like this, and I couldn't believe that this is the same boy. Okay, so look at this, our mind, this is how mind behaves. What is stress? Stress is when your mind when mind is heavily loaded with things which the mind doesn't want to do. When that happens, or cannot do, doesn't want to do, and heavily loaded with those things, that is where the mind tries to reject. This means the stress. Okay. And if this stress is intense, it becomes anxiety. And if this stress is prolonged, it becomes depression. So, how to manage this? This is so important. This is so important. And what I would suggest is that each one of us here, and your friends, if you come across people with mental problems, and of course there are psychologists there, there are psychiatrists there, there are counselors there. Meanwhile, I would suggest that before you advise somebody to go for antidepressants, counseling is a beautiful thing. Whereas if you see that somebody is going for antidepressants, I would highly recommend that advise them to stay away from the antidepressants and see if that can be dealt with the counselings. And particularly the Buddhist psychology, it has a tremendous potential to help the people from these problems. And particularly, so as I said earlier, Geshe is here. You're very fortunate. So it doesn't mean that sometimes the problems can be so acute that there's no choice other than first to numb the person a little bit. There's no choice. One way solve with the help of antidepressants. Once the mind is under little control because of the antidepressants, then counseling must be given rather than heavily dependent on the antidepressants. Okay, for this we have visual here, and sometimes even for many of these people, even just coming to meet somebody who is a very calm, compassionate person, half the healing already takes place. That's so important. One, and then on top of that, Geshe is a psychologist. All the sophisticated psychology he already studied, and he practices himself. So that way we see that there's great potential that many can be benefited. Let's not forget it. And also I feel extremely grateful to Dr. Nivedanaji that many of you are somewhat associated with her, and the Earth, her program is amazing. And she herself, having done her psychology, the PhD in the Western psychology, but she wholeheartedly feels that the Buddhist psychology which she learned from Ashish and Zubinji is so greatly practically beneficial when it comes to her clients or his patients. So that's very important. So with this in mind, I would like to share with you a few points before we actually go to the Heart Sutra. Why would you tell me it's all 12:25? The stage, what time should we start? Okay, okay. Okay, so unless you have some other urgent things to do, usually what we have is that at the class till like 1 o'clock. So till 1 o'clock, then 1 to 2 or 1 to 1:45 we'll have lunch, and then 1:45 we'll again have the second session. Okay. The first, by the way, just raise your hands, all of those who have some experience of tension, stress, miseries in their life. And some they will raise both hands, say it's not just one, it's 2 hands. Right? Okay. Okay. So we all have the experience of what the tension is like, what the stress is like. And the question is that whether or not we can get away from these problems altogether. This is the question. And keep in mind that we all have this potential. We all have the potential of the total stress-free state of mind. We all have this potential. It's not that some people have this, some people don't have. Everyone has this potential to lead a stress-free life. But no, it never happened in my life. There's no stress-free at all. Always there's some stress, right? And but this, how do you know that I have this potential? You must get conviction in your potential. And it's not that boys have this, or the girls have this, or it's not that only the Asians have this, non-Asians don't have it, or only the Buddhists have it, non-Buddhists don't have it. No, everyone has this. This is reality. That everyone has the seed of perfection within you. And, okay, so particularly this tradition that we follow here, it is to encourage us not to follow blindly. You're getting it? Not to follow blindly. If you follow blindly, you will never, say, if you try to build a castle in the air, you will never see the castle. So the castle must, when you build a castle, it must be from the ground. Ground represents a reality. We should be very realistic and don't follow blindly. In other words, say these 4 sessions that we have, 2 sessions today, 2 sessions tomorrow. If you have any questions, say while I'm teaching, if you have any questions which you think require explanation, clarification, or you don't agree, don't restrain yourself. Make sure that you bring this up. It doesn't mean that I have all the answers. You getting it? It doesn't mean that I have all the answers. The point is that these questions should not be restrained, should not be, suppressed. These questions must be brought up. Whatever question that we have must be brought up. And if I fail to give the answer, don't worry, ask this to Geshe. If Geshe fails to give the answer, keep exploring answers to these questions that you have. This is so important. You're getting it? In other words, don't ever follow blindly. And with this spirit, you will gradually learn the skill of articulating your thoughts. Articulating your thoughts. This is so important. Articulating your thoughts and articulating your words. With the economy of words, you'll be able to express what's in your mind. And then with the economy of thought processes, you can see where you need more clarification. That is extremely important. It's for this reason that my classes are usually interactive. And for sure, I'll ask some questions to you, and you also expected to give a response to me. And so that way, it's not just that, okay, you attended today, their teaching. That's not the purpose. The purpose is that you learn something. I learn something from you, you learn something from our being together. And how to learn? To learn, your mind should have the receptivity. When does the receptivity comes? When your mind has the energy. If the mind doesn't have the energy, his voice, Monday mind, doesn't have the energy. You getting it? It should be the boy's mind when it's Friday evenings, or particularly Saturday morning, is extremely energetic. Because Sunday is also free. The last evening was also free. So this should be our mind, with full of energy. You getting it? Okay. So for this, the interactive session is required. Okay. This yesterday we did a short class in Kranti, Maniji, and the two girls here. Yes. Okay. 3 of you. Okay. With a short discourse there, we have to have confidence in your own potential. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that, it's not a flattery word. This is reality. This reality that each one of us, we have the seed of perfection within us. Okay, let me give an example. Say, which is more expensive diamond? 1 kg diamond in the diamond, what is that? No, the diamond showroom, diamond showroom, 1 kg diamond in the diamond showroom, and 1 kg diamond in the ditch. Which is more expensive? Okay, both meaning same. How many say that these are same? Presents? Okay. And how many would say that diamond in the showroom is more expensive? Presents? Okay. So now, who knows? The diamond in the showroom, the owner of the showroom of the diamond, he knows best. If he comes to discover that there's a diamond in the ditch, he'll pick that up, wash this, clean this, and they put it in showroom. It becomes showroom diamond. There's no difference. There's no difference. You getting it? There's no difference at all. Okay. So with this, never ever think that you are inferior. Never ever think that I'm not good in mathematics. Never ever think that I'm not in philosophy. Right? We all have the same potential, not just the same potential, but a perfect potential to be the most happy person, the most fearless person. Fearless and happy, which means no stress. This is so important. Okay. So for this, I like to say, is there anyone who likes to share with us, when do you get the stress? Anyone? There's so many factors. Presents? Quick. Anyone? To save time? Yes, here.
When I wake up late.
Okay, when you wake up late, there's a stress there. Okay, they go there.
When I see my husband.
Okay, good. The lady there? Yes. What's your name? Yes. Huh? Abhishika, yes.
When I'm stuck in traffic and late.
Okay, in the traffic, that's the stress there. Anyone else? Yes.
When things don't work as per what I want.
When things don't work as you intended, as wished.
When I have too many things to do in a row and I don't know what to begin with.
Okay, when you have too many things to do and you don't know where to begin with. Right? Okay.
When I'm blamed.
When you blames, what does some of the blames mean? For your own mistakes or for someone else's mistake? Huh? Both. If you have made mistakes, please don't blame me. Otherwise I'm going to stress. Okay. So we see that these are the stress. The stress. Okay. So now the purpose is finally, so when you feel stress, actually this is not your true nature. This is not your true nature. So if it is not my true nature, why should it be stressful then? But it's undeniable fact. For example, what's your name? Lily. Huh?
Namrata.
So Namrita, see husband is stressed. Right? Okay. And the Abhisheka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I'm stuck in traffic.
Okay, in the traffic, right? You get stuck there in the traffic, there's a stress there, right? Stressed in. So we see that this is not your true nature. This is not your true nature, right? Okay. So how to I'll give you 3 options, right? Say the one is, let's say that okay, you are struck in traffic and you have some, let's say that you feel a little hyper stressed. And second is that you get stuck in traffic and from the opposite side there is somebody who's so loving and caring to you. That person happened to be there and 2 of you happen to be in the same, and then you open the door, is a huge traffic jam, open door, you have a conversation, and that person you will not meet for the next 10 years. And you know that, right? Second scenario. Third one is just in your room, feeling so bored, right? Okay, 3 options. Which do you prefer the most?
Meeting the person I'll not meet for the next.
So you prefer the traffic to be more jammed?
Yeah, also.
Right? So you need the traffic to be more jammed, so that you can spend more time. You're getting it? So traffic jam is not the real problem. It's a problem somewhere else. You're getting it? So with the traffic jam, sometimes you like it. So how I wish that the traffic jam remains like this, so that I can spend more time with my dear sister, with my dear brother, and so for more time, because I'm not going to see him or her the next 10 years. So the more we get stuck there, it's a blessing in disguise, right? Otherwise, it's a stress. So somewhere we're going wrong. It's not the traffic per se. It's not the traffic per se. With the traffic, sometimes it can give rise to you see that's a blessing. Sometimes you see that's a stress. When you see there's a blessing, there's no stress. There's no stress. When there's stress, when the traffic resolves, then there's a stress, right? Oh, now I'm going to miss my sister for the next 10 years, right? When the traffic is more, your stress is gone. So sometimes the heavy traffic gives stress. Sometimes it relieves you from the stress. So tell me. So from this point we come to know that it's not the traffic that gives rise to the stress. There's another factor. The stress comes from. Anyone? What do you think is the factor? Huh? Yes.
I think all these situations are about unmet expectation. I'm stuck in traffic, I want to be there in time.
Okay.
And I'm not able to.
What do you call it? Unmet expectations.
Unmet expectations.
Unmet expectations, right? There's some expectations there within you, and that's not fulfilled. And that is the one which makes you okay. So what kind of expectation? Expectation that you have say something to be done here, and with the traffic, you cannot do it now, right? Okay. So even that is also not reason. You know why? So that expectation may be like say It is meeting a friend. Meeting a friend you have made an appointment. To meet a friend over a cup of tea, and you are stuck in the traffic. And then suddenly your sister, who you're going to miss for the next 10 years, comes by. Who is more important? Your friend for a cup of tea, or the sister who you're going to miss for the next 10 years? Who's more important? Which means that it's a blessing that there's a traffic there. I'm not going to meet my friend, instead I'm going to meet my sister. You're getting it? Even that is not the real problem. So there, you explore like this, you will see that you will discover the root of the problem. Once you discover the root of the problem, fix it, and your stress is fixed. You're getting it? Okay. Usually, I give this example. And those of us from NMC, NDC, they say you give chance to other people to give answer, right? But by the way, raise hands those who are from NMC, NDC. Oh, there are several of you. Okay. So the others, I would suggest others to give answer. Same, and I'm from Delhi. You all know that. And they say, don't take it too seriously. I'm going to give you, just create a scenario. Create a scenario. It's not the reality. That I live in Delhi on the 3rd floor in a building. 3rd floor flat. And as asthma problem, newly developed the last 2 weeks because of the moisture in the house. Okay. I need to, and it is, let's say the autumn. The weather is so dry in Delhi. No rain. You get it? Number one, that I live in Delhi on the 3rd floor in autumn, where the weather is so dry, but there's the moisture there, and I have an asthma problem because of the moisture, right? And I don't want this asthma problem. What advice would you give? Reasons. In order to, I need advice that I don't have to go through asthma anymore. Reasons. What advice would you give? Don't go to the 3rd floor. This is the only house that I have. This is only the space my office gave me. Right? Otherwise, I would be in the street. Anyone else? Raise hands. What advice do you give? Second one. Go to the doctor. Why do you have to stress yourself? Go to the doctor. Fix the problem. Number 2. Okay. Let us all listen to the various advice here.
Train your mind.
Oh, train your mind. Train your mind. Okay, train your mind. So if I take cyanide, train your mind. Right. Train your mind. Okay, anyone else? Yes, the girl there. Hey, use air purifier. Not air purifier, dehumidifier. Yes, I know better than her. It is not air purifier. It is problem not was you're right, but Delhi is polluted. Right? There's pollution, air purifier is required. But my problem is not with the air purifier. The lack of air purifier is because of the lack of dehumidifying. I need to have dehumidify is quite expensive. Quite expensive, 20,000. But it doesn't matter. The worst problem is that the dehumidifier, when it goes wrong, then I have to call the technician. And the technician says, what? Kal aayega. It never comes. Tomorrow it never comes. So I continue to suffer. Okay. The girl there? Yes. Huh? Come to Mumbai. Okay, you're so kind. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, there.
To keep your calm your mind.
Calm your mind. Take cyanide, doesn't matter. Calm your mind. Calm your mind. It doesn't matter. Take cyanide, calm your mind. Okay.
Find out the source of the moisture.
Okay. Speak more.
I will find out where the moisture
What's your name?
is.
Dr. Prita. Okay. Look. This is the medical doctor. Right? Okay. So Dr. Prita comes. Geshe. right? You don't go to hospital, don't go to hospital, don't buy dehumidifier, don't come to mind, right? Okay, first I'll visit your place very briefly, right? So she visits the place and checks all the room, all the water pipelines. Then she saw that the water pipeline, there is a crack there. From there, little by little, the water is coming out, and it's the moisture spreads, right? So then what she does is that, okay, Geshe, now don't worry, right? Don't worry. You sit here for the next half an hour. I'll come back. She goes out to buy MC. You know what MC is? It's glue. MC for 10 rupees. Dehumidifier 20,000 rupees. And the person will come to say that even the installer will say, I'll come tomorrow, right? Okay. So she comes with it, 10 rupees MC, and fix that, finish the problem solved. You're getting it? So some people ask me to move your house. Some people say that open the windows. Some people say that keep cleaning your house all the time so that I can come to Mumbai. You know, I don't have time to clean the house, then how can I come to Mumbai, right? So the point is that the wisest thing to do is identify the cause, root source, fix it, all the problems will be fixed. So the stress, where is it coming from? Is it the traffic, or is it your husband? Same, right? And what's your name? The lady there. The husband's problem. Yes. Yeah. So Namrita, one day on a birthday, if the husband says that, okay, Namrita, so today I'll give you a birthday treat, right? And I don't know whether she's so keen on the travels. You prefer, right? So then he takes her to the best place where she likes, right? So that time she sees her husband. It's not stress; it's a distressing, right? So seeing the husband per se is not a problem. There's root of the problem lies somewhere. Unless we identify that, there's no point in putting an effort, investing in energy. It's just waste of your energy resources, and it can perhaps create more problem for you. So, as the doctor said, that we have to track the root of the cause. This is the meaning of the same. All of you are expected to have this copy, which the Jill so kindly prepared it just last night. So kindly did it, and the same. The daily recitation and practice, the mantra there, Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. Don't see this mantra as like a mantra of Buddhism, or to create some kind of energy within. No, it's just to remind us, to tell us that Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. All these phenomena of misery, stress, they arise from their causes. Hetum tesham tathagato hyavata. What these causes are, you have to identify these causes. It's not very easy. But Tathagata, the Buddha, helps us to identify what these causes are. Tesham chayo nirodha. How to bring an end to these causes is also taught. Tesham chayo nirodha evam. Thus, Vadi taught. Even the Mahashramana, the great seer, has taught how to bring an end to the causes of these miseries. So here, don't expect the Buddha to perform some miracles so that the cause of miseries come to an end. No. So oftentimes the example that I give is that today, let's say we are reading this text in the process. Suddenly, let's say it is in the middle of the night, and there's a sudden power cut. And if you say, Buddha, please remove this darkness, Buddha will be very upset. what a hopeless student, or a hopeless disciple. But if you light the candle, he'll be so happy. Okay, wow, this is intelligent, you are the intelligent boy, right? But if you light, please move the darkness. There's no hope. It's hopeless. What you can do, do it. What you can do, do it. What you cannot do, you can pray. Okay, this is the idea. So with this in mind, you have to track the cause. So what is the cause of the stress? What is the cause of the stress? You're getting it? The real cause. You have to identify this. Okay, now, all of us. So what we're doing here is to say how to distress yourself. For that, we have to know how the mind works. How the mind works. You getting it? Okay. Let's say that pull your two hands out. Pull your two hands out, and do what I'm doing. Okay, good. So this seems like a small child's play. The two hands coming together and sound is erupted. This sound is a metaphor for all the stress that we go through in our life. This sound is a metaphor for all the stresses that we go through in our life. And just as this sound, in order for this sound to come into being, it is necessary that your two hands should come together. Likewise, for all our stresses, there should necessarily be two factors contributing to this problem. So, I say if you don't want the sound of the clap, particularly if you are so focused on the studies, preparing for the competitive exams, and somebody continues to do like this next to you, are you happy? Not happy? You are very unhappy. It's very disturbing. So what you do is that you just let her put on one hand, no sound, right? Sound stops. You're getting it? This is so important. Whichever hand is fine. It's not necessarily left hand, right hand down and left. No? Even left hand down, right hand, no sound. The thing is that this sound should necessarily come to be by the combination of the two hands. Likewise, all our stresses should necessarily come to being by the combination of external factors and internal factors. Two factors are there. For example, the husband is one factor. There's external factor, right? And the one is the traffic. Again, it's external factor. But the blame, external factor, and your work not being done as intended. Things don't fall in place the way you intended. And again, things not happening. That is external. You're getting it? Okay. So we did a quick the exercise yesterday in Kranti. We do the same thing here. You're getting it? On those who are present there in Kranti, they give chance to other people to give the answer. You getting it? Ready? Ready? Okay. This is extremely important. Say, to distress yourself, the mechanism is within you, within your hands, but we are totally oblivious to these. So we have to identify the mechanism well, and then be your own therapist. You can become your own therapist. Okay. So what you're going to do is that we're going to do the mathematical calculation. You getting it? Okay. It's going to be simple mathematics. Don't think that I'm not good at mathematics. How many of you know that when you go to buy bread or milk, we give 100 rupees, and then the bread and milk costs you like 66 rupees. How much you expect back? You give 100 rupees. How much you expect back? 34. Okay, how many of you know this calculation in a sense? If you don't know this calculation, you cannot survive in Mumbai. If you don't know this calculation, you're getting it? So the calculation that we're going to do is going to be much way simpler. It's not going to be like 66, 100. It's going to be a number below 6. 2, 3, 4. Ready? Okay. And that also not multiplication division. It's going to be plus minus. Easy? Ready? Okay. So the deal is that you give me an answer. I give the a question to you. You do the calculation mentally, and only when I ask you what I'll answer, you give an answer. Till that point, keep it to yourself. Don't utter a word. Ready? Okay. 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 minus 1 plus 2 plus 1. What's the answer? 11. Huh? 11. Very good. And some people, they are noting down numbers. Numbers. They're scared. I may go wrong. Right? It stresses. It gives them stress. Okay. 11. You did so well. Okay. Now let's do it again. Again, I promise not to make it more complicated. It's going to be a symbol. Ready? Ready? Again, the same thing. We give an answer only with no need to note it down. Don't worry. You can very simple ones. Ready? 2 plus 2 plus 3 minus plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2. What's the answer? Okay, no clue. Okay, tell me. Say in the first case you gave me a correct answer. In the second case you don't give me the correct answer. Why? Raise hands. Just raise hands. Raise hands. There's a gentleman here.
Oh, you went too fast.
Because I said too fast. How many? Your name, sorry?
Ravi.
Okay, Raviji. How many agree with Raviji? Raise hands. Raviji, raise hands. Dilipji, raise hands. Okay. So it means that I said too fast. And if I ask, is it true? I would say I fully agree with you that I said too fast, then you cannot give the answer. I agree with you. Right? But for all your problems, there are always two hands together. Right? External factors and internal factors. External factor that I said is fast, external factor that your brain works slow is the internal factor. And that you do not blame your brain. You blame me. Right? That I said it fast. Actually, your brain works so slow. If you give same command to the computer, it will give the answer promptly. It will give the answer very accurately. You will not complain that you said it fast. But your brain was so slow that this is how addicted our mind is, to always blame external factors. While the reality is that there are always two factors involved, external factors and internal factors. Okay, so we have ended 2 minutes. So with having said this, the point is that, what is the teaching of the Buddha? What is Heart Sutra? What is the teaching of the Buddha? The teaching of Buddha, there's no hard and fast rule to say that you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this ritual, that ritual, and you should be kind. No. Keep in mind that why should we be kind? Why should we be doing this, that, and so forth? So that my problems will be removed. So that I'll be a happy person. So that my family will be happier. So at workplace people will be happier. So that I can contribute to the world, to the other people, and so forth. If that is the case, whatever. So we see that for all these things, two things involved. One is external factor, and the other one is internal factor. Two things involved. So the job is to stop the sound of the miseries. For that, you can stop one of these two, right hand or left hand. One of these two hands, and so whichever you can stop, whether external factors or the internal factors, whichever you can stop, do that. That is your dharma. So, if by blaming external factors all the time and your sound of misery stops, that is your dharma. Whereas in reality, now we are all, I don't see anybody who is in the below 20s. Anybody? Below 20s. Okay, no one. We're all 20 plus. 20 plus means, keep this in mind, we have last 20 years of experience, minimum 20 years of experience, in my case, 55 years of experience of blaming ourselves all the time. Right? That you said it fast, you said it fast, you said it fast. We never said that my brain works so slow. And your problem solved or not solved? It never solved. You getting it? So from this experience, we come to know that approach that I took thus far, it did not succeed. True? So why do we blame somebody else? Right? So the Prira, he doesn't want somebody else to blame him, right? Right? He's blaming somebody, blaming him. He's blaming somebody else, blaming him for his unhappiness. You're getting it? So we are so addicted to doing that. If that helps, if that removes your problem, that is your dharma. But in reality, it never removes your problem. So now, before we wind up for the lunch, my question to you is that, okay, now we saw that this is an addiction to point a finger to the outside external factors. You getting it? Okay, tell me, how many such external factors are there to create problem to you? How many such external factors are there? Listen. Innumerable external factors. How many agree with me? Your name? Or how many agree with Rajni? Raise hands. Yes. We cannot possibly think of getting rid of all the innumerable external factors. You're getting it? So the wise one, having these number of years of experience, I've been dealing external factors all the time, and I come to realize that my problems never come to an end because external factors are innumerable number. They're like ripples. You remove one, another two comes. You remove two, another four comes. This is a problem. So the wise people will think of removing of the two hands, of the two factors, will think of removing the internal factor. You're getting it? Internal factors. So once the internal factor is removed, then external factors, however numerous, no sound. Sound the problem? Stops. Okay. Say the external factors. Let me give you an example. Let's say that when you're by yourself, right, when you go to somewhere else, when you're by yourself, you will say that I'm lonely. Yes? And when you're with somebody else, you will say that I have no privacy. You're getting it? This is our mindset. You are never happy with any situation. When you're by yourself, you say, I'm feeling so lonely. When you are kept with somebody else, I have no privacy. This is our mindset. So with external factors, you are always dissatisfied with anything. With your husband, there's a problem. If there's no husband, there's a problem. You're getting, if your husband nearby, there's a problem. If she's not nearby, there's a problem. Right? This is our mindset. Well, not only husband, even wife also. You getting it? So this is a mindset. Now, if you don't want stress, how many don't want stress? Raise hands. How many are very serious with not wanting stress? Raise hands. Okay. If you are really serious, not wanting to have the stress, then it is high time to look for the alternative way. That is, to look for the internal factors and stop the internal factors. So there, of the two hands, one is gone, now only one hand is left, no sound. Sound will easily stops. You getting it? Okay, what is your next question? Anyone?
How?
Okay, what are the internal factors and how to get rid of them? So we'll do this at 1:45. Yep.
One little announcement.